MathAS coders, this is Bill Meacham. We are going to go through the activity of writing another MathAS assessment question. This will be the very first video I've ever done, and this is my 4th attempt. I will do my best. It's going to be horrible, and stop laughing, James. So in this question right here, we want to go through this problem-solving activity. Solve the following quadratic equation by factoring. So we want the students to work with that. Given x squared plus 9x plus 20 equals 0. Our hope is that they will go through the process of putting it in factored form. X plus 4 times x plus 5 equals 0, or quantity x plus 4 times quantity x plus 5. And their answer will be x equals negative 5 comma negative 4. This is a number question like we did the other day in class, but in this one I want them to give a list of numbers. Theoretically, down the pike, we would actually want them to have to write the answer x equals negative 5 comma negative 4, but for this one we're just going to give them negative 5, negative 4. So let's think through this. What we're looking for is we've got to identify the factors. So the very beginning one, we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And again, the variables $a, $b, and $c. And then if you look at it in factored form, we have x plus $x1 and x plus $x2 equals 0. And our answer is going to be x equals negative $x1, negative $x2. So let's go back and look at our IPO chart. If we do our IPO chart, we got to work backwards on this. With MathAS, is a lot about working backwards. We have to figure out where we want to end up. Let's start with our answer, and then create the question. So $x1 and $x2, those will be random. $a, $b, and $c, those are going to be calculated. So our goal, our ultimate goal, is the question that we're going to ask the student and the answer that they need to respond with. So what are we going to do? We're going to generate the random numbers, calculate a, b, and c, define the question, define the answer, and set our options. That's the process we want to go with. So if you want to do this elsewhere, go for it, but open a MathAS question and let's start writing it. So we'll give it a name, factoring a quadratic equation. We want to make sure it's private. We don't want to share this with anybody else right now. Licensing, who gets to use it, we can learn about that later. Assignment, please make sure it's unassigned. We don't want it to be visible. In this one right here, we're going to deal with number. We want to create a number question. So, cool. This is your Bible right here. Writing question help. We'll give you a printout in class, but now what we want you to do is click on it, and you get this right up here. Oh, I should have gone back to the beginning. This is your guide for all the stuff we're going to deal with, and we want to get you used to being able to read and interpret what you want, what you're going to be using. For right now, we're worried about randomizers, we're worried about formatting, and we're actually going to play with arrays a little bit, just a little bit, but we're going to call them lists. And for this question, we want a number type. So if I click on number, students are asked to enter a number. It can be negative infinity or infinity, but they also can do lists. Answer equals 1, 2, 3. So there is options here that will make it kind of nice. All right, so let's start. If I go over here and do two slashes, that's a comment. It ignores that. So let's generate our random numbers. Okay, so we got $x1 comma $x2 equals. So we got to go back and figure out which ones we're going to use. So I go back to my help guide. This doesn't have anything up here as far as the menu. I always just right click and click back, and let's look at our randomizers. These are what makes it fun. There's all kinds of stuff we can do here. The single result randomizers right here, in this case we want 2, so we're not going to use those. So we're going to come down here and look for ones that return multiple results. So I want 2 values, x1 and x2. I can use rands where it's, n integers between min and max. We can go on steps and all that, but I think what's really critical for me is I want them to be different. So I want difference. And so what I normally do here is I copy. So I'll right click and do copy. And this is where I get my difference. I want to go from, in this case, 2 to 9, and I want 2 of them. So what I've just done is I've just generated 2 random numbers. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to calculate $A, $B, comma $C. And I kind of jumped ahead, so I didn't have to type this out. But if you look down here, solve the following quadratic equation by factoring. $EQ is what we're going to display to them. X equals, and then we're going to go ahead and put our answer box. So this is kind of what we're looking at right there. But that's going to be the question. I forgot that I'd already typed that in. So let's look at calculate. My brain doesn't work all the time, so I have X plus $x1, and then X plus $x2 equals 0. All right, so I have to calculate it all. $A is going to equal 1. Do I even need it? I don't, but I'm going to put it there. Okay. $B is going to equal $x1 plus $x2, and $C is going to equal $x1 times $x2. So now we've generated A, B, and C. Okay. So let's define the equation. Okay, so what we do is do $EQ equals, and we do backtick. It's always backtick. So, you know, and just to emphasize here, $A space X squared plus $BX plus $C. So there's my equation. So what is my answer going to be? So my answer is going to be $answer equals. And then in this one, I'm going to put them in a list. Every time you do a list, you put it within double quotes. So this is negative $x1, comma, negative $x2. So define the equation, define the answer. That right there. So are we good? Have I made mistakes? Probably. But let's see what happens. So if I click quick save and preview. Save and test and quick save and preview do the same thing, but this has this weirdness where it always takes us up to the top of the screen. So if we click quick save and preview, let's see where we get. Oh, I have an error. First thing I see is I've got that right there. Oh, I forgot. I do that a lot. So let's go right here and do tick, quick save and preview. So solve the following quadratic equation by factoring. 1x squared plus 10x plus 24. Let's show the answer. -6, -4. Okay, so let's fix this. First things, and again, I could just not define A and it would be okay, but what if we want to generate x1 and x2 where they can be positive and negative? And we're going to play with that. So what we have to do here is we have to fix this. So this is kind of reviewing what we used before. How do you fix it? So you go back to your user's guide. And I click back, and we're looking for format macros. Now this is kind of things progressed over the years. David Lippman, who wrote this, wrote one, and then said he needed better functionality, so wrote another one. So there's make pretty display, but his newest version are these right here. Make XX pretty and make XX pretty display. The difference is if you do display, it puts the ticks in for you automatically so you don't have to. If you do make XX pretty, it cleans it up if you want to use it for logic and the answer behind it. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do make XX pretty display. If I do that right here, paste, now I have to be careful because since I'm going to make it do the prettiness for me, I'm going to take out the back quotes. So now what this does is this takes my equation and makes it nice and pretty. So if I do quick save and preview, Chrome doesn't pull it up automatically, so I have to click on that box every time. But Firefox does. So now we have -6, -8. I don't know if this will work or not. -6, comma, -8. So if I click submit, it doesn't like it. And the reason it doesn't like it is it doesn't know that it's looking for a list. Show answer shows that. So we need to set the parameters of what we want as far as the answer. Going back to help, let's go down here to number and look at this. So we've got the answer, okay? If the answer format is set for list, So right here, this is our answer format. It can be a list, an exact list, an ordered list, no solution, or no solution infinite. List, exact list, or ordered list specifies that a list of answers is expected. If answer format is list, then duplicate values are ignored. If answer format is exact list, then duplicate values are not ignored. Ordered list means it has to be in some specific order. So let's try this and see if these work. So if I go right here and copy that, copy. Now what we've done here is we can paste, and now we have our answer format is list. So let's try this. Come to our question, there's our answer. So let's do -9, -2. Let's submit, see if it likes it. It does. Does it like it in reversed order? -2, -9. Let's click submit there, and it likes that as well. So this is good. We're actually have a question that works, and we can go from there. I'm going to end this one because I don't want it to be too long, and then I will start another one to go with how can we make this more creative.